Danielle Brandon is a CrossFit Games athlete. In 2022, Danielle Brandon had her best finish to date at the 2022 CrossFit Games, finishing 4th overall. She has competed in the CrossFit Games 4 times, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Danielle Brandon is from the Tri-Cities in Washington. Having described her upbringing as turbulent, she found herself using sports to express herself and stay out of trouble. A natural athlete, she participated in elite-level gymnastics and had college offers for swimming and diving before eventually going to Sacramento State for Division I track and field. At Sac State, she competed in the pole vault and 400 meters. Danielle eventually moved from Sacramento to Las Vegas to train with Underdogs Athletics, stewarded by Justin Kotler. She has since moved to Naples, FL, to train under Brute Strength's Matt Torres and Dom Agostino. In 2019, her rookie year at the CrossFit Games, Danielle finished 10th overall, including her first event win during second cut. In 2020, during the online competition due to COVID, Danielle placed 15th, not advancing her to the in-person portion of the Games in Aromas, California. In 2021, Danielle took 3rd place at the West Coast Classic CrossFit semifinal, advancing her to the CrossFit Games. Her teammates at Underdogs Athletics at the time, Bethany Shadburn and Carrie Pierce, took 1st and 2nd respectively. During athlete check-in, Bethany Shadburn tested positive for COVID-19, with Carrie Pierce testing positive a few days later. This left Danielle by herself and segregated from the rest of the competitors. Setting the stage for one of the most legendary moments in CrossFit Games history, Danielle won Event 8, a handstand walk obstacle course, besting all men's and women's scores. She capped off the win, giving double middle fingers to the crowd, not as a show of disdain, but one of rebellion to the situation she found herself in throughout the entirety of the CrossFit Games. Danielle ended up taking 11th place at the CrossFit Games, and her social media following grew more than any other athlete competing that week. In 2022, Danielle won the MAC Mid-Atlantic CrossFit Challenge before moving training camps to Brute Strength to train with fellow CrossFit Games athlete and 3X teen champion Dallin Pepper. She went on to win another event at the CrossFit Games and finish a career-best 4th place at the Games, only 44 points off of the podium. Beyond competitions, Danielle has utilized her platform to connect with the fitness community and has become a respected figure in the industry. She is a brand ambassador for RAD, a role that allows her to influence and inspire others who are passionate about fitness. Additionally, her collaborations extend to training with well-known athletes in the CrossFit arena, including Carrie Pierce and Bethany Shadburn, which further amplifies her presence and impact within the sport. Rogue Invitational 2022, 9th in the Rogue. This position may seem like a bad result to people's eyes, but the athlete claims to have won, as the general public does not know what she is going through. At the event, Back Attack Brandon, knowing that he would not be able to complete the event, takes to the floor. Brandon misses the first lift, and it is striking that he takes his time to unload the bar without rushing and bring it back up. Achieves 2 squat at 275s, 125 kilograms. He later explained that the most he had ever lifted was 250 pounds, 113 kilograms a year ago due to a back injury. Another personal victory was being able to do 80 GHDs in a row without back pain and having a good pace on the skier without dying. I may not have been where I wanted to be at the end of the weekend, but I know I've had more wins than you think. And I've learned a lot from them. In July, just a few weeks before the CrossFit Games 2022, the American announced on the Brute Strength podcast that she is leaving the Underdogs programming and joining the Underdogs and training alongside other athletes such as Dallin Pepper or James Sprague. Brandon says, "It wasn't something I had planned. Only an idiot would drop their programming a month out from the Games." She states that the decision was not easy and that she felt compelled by circumstances, although she does not specify the cause clearly. Justin Kotler acknowledges that Brandon is a complicated person, but the two speak well of their relationship, despite Danielle being kicked out of the group. Carrie Pierce retired, and Bethany Shadburn moved to Los Angeles. Underdogs was to grow and received a large number of athletes. Brandon didn't seem to adjust well to the new changes and felt she was training alone because she didn't connect with the new faces. Kotler explains that there were some of Brandon's actions toward other athletes that created tension in the environment. Both acknowledge that neither side handled the situation well. 2020 Games Demonstration Equipment. Danielle moves to Las Vegas to join the Underdogs Athletics group, whose head coach is Justin Kotler. Other notable athletes in the group included Tola Moraquinho, Carrie Pierce, Bethany Shadburn, and Matt DeLugos. Brandon acknowledges that both Bethany and Carrie beat him on a daily basis. Many times this was a great motivation for the athlete, although sometimes it was a great frustration for her. Danielle was very happy to share training sessions with Carrie Pierce and Bethany Shadburn, who gave her unconditional support. Kotler humorously explains that Brandon was unfamiliar with terms such as the dumper of the rowing or the drag factor. She had never used a yoke or straps for weightlifting, but that the athlete had great potential. In a year severely affected in the field of competition, she achieved a third place at the Mayhem Classic Sanctional, won a Tia Claire Toomey at a handstand walk and dumbbell snatches event. Danielle explains that Toomey came up to her and said, "Is this the only thing you're good at?" She qualified for the games. However, due to the special situation, only 5 qualified and she could only finish 15th in the first online phase of the games. CrossFit Games. She was invited to form part of the CrossFit Games demonstration team. This selected group of athletes test and demonstrate competition training. 2019, unfairly out of the finals. She qualified for the CrossFit Games by being 16th in the Open worldwide. That year, the top 20 received a direct invitation. It was his first CrossFit Games, and his goal was to finish top 20. A special games where 150 athletes participated. We first met her as the winner of the second event, which included rowing, KB shoulder to overhead and handstand. Dave Castro himself admits he didn't know who she was. Brandon, ranked 11th, was unable to compete in the game's final day, in which only the 10 best athletes participated. After the games were over, it was announced that Anna Fraku, who was in the top 10 and in the final, tested positive for doping. Now I suggest you dive into a fascinating video with Danielle Brandon. Subscribe to the channel, like it will be interesting.